without further ado, let me introduce you to one of my favorite humans in the universe. Dori and I met. I'm going to give you a quick backstory. Dori came in as a client. We met through Kickstart, just like this. She went through Kickstart, and just like you guys, I'd never seen her face. We were just chatting in the comment box. And it is not an exaggeration when I say that Simone and I consider Dori family at this point. She has gone through all of Ignite. She is a graduate of Ignite. She became a coach for us because she just lives and breathes in such a natural cheerleader. And now she's just such an important member of not only our Ignite family, but bigger picture. Before I turn over to Dori, I want to show you some pictures. Dori, can I show the bikini picture?
Yes.
Okay. I had it pulled up, but I didn't actually ask permission.
No pressure.
So as you're going to hear Dori talk about, Dori is postmenopausal, and I'm not going to give away her story. I'll let her tell you what that looked like. But like most of our alumni, the story has depth to it that pictures can't show, and the pictures speak to themselves. So the next one I'm about to show you is the fan favorite. Dori put this on Facebook and almost broke the internet that day. Dori, do you mind sharing your age?
I'm 57.
She's 57. Look at this next picture. And Dori always puts a disclaimer, that's not her dirty mirror. She was on vacation. 57. Look at that.
That makes me want to cry almost.
57. And that was one of your first before and after pictures, I think, as well. But this one's just like every woman who's like, I just can't lose belly fat post menopause, like, boom, proof is in the pudding. All right. So, yep, Joe says I need a cheerleader. That is, Dori is a natural cheerleader, as you will learn. Amazing. Sarah says amazing. Connie says you look amazing. So here's where I would like to start the conversation. We're going to change things up a little bit because we've done these a few times, so I want to keep us on our toes. If you had to describe Dori before Ignite in one word, so I'm going to ask you the one word, and then I'm going to ask you to expand and tell us more about what's behind that word. But if you had to describe Dori before Ignite, feeling stuck in your grandma bod, as you've put it, what would that word be?
Deflated.
Deflated. Interesting. Okay, tell us more about that.
So I am a natural cheerleader. I am, in Kickstart, one of the first ways you and I connected is that you are always scared to share your screen. You're afraid it wasn't going to go right. I'm like, you can do it every single time, right? But I am a natural cheerleader. I love to lift people up. But in that point of my life, before Kickstart, before Ignite, I had morphed into a body that I didn't recognize anymore because of menopause. And I had a hysterectomy at 38. So I went into menopause early. And it didn't really catch up with me in the beginning, but we had a lot of moving, we had a lot of stress, a lot of eating out. And suddenly my metabolism said, yeah, sucker, see you later. And I am just like, putting on a few pounds here and there. And I'm like, okay, this is enough. I'm not going to eat breakfast. This is enough. I'm not going to eat after 6 o'clock. This is enough. And just restrict. It didn't make a difference. And I continued to put on weight. So right before I found you, I really just was like, my mom was right. This is it. I might as well cut my hair, get a poodle perm, and get those ugly banded sweatshirts that 75-year-old women wear. If you're 75, I mean, no disrespect. But
good, because Toby just joined us. I thought there was
a Zoom. I'm like, how go on Facebook? But no, but you had heard it all your life. Everything goes downhill after 40. And I thought, well, that's not going to be me. And it was. And so I was very deflated because nothing that I tried worked. And I really thought I was just bound to the second chapter of my life be, as I've told you before, fluffy. And I had never been fluffy a day in my life. And it just, I can't say it happened overnight because it didn't, but at the same time, it felt like it did. I just woke up one day and it was like, holy crap, what happened? Who am I?
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about that transit. Toby saying LOL. Listen, Toby is like the most hip woman in her 70s any of us have ever met. Let's talk about that transition, because a lot of women, like you remember this from Kickstart. When we talk about retraining your metabolism, it is such a scary thing. And you lived it firsthand. I mean, you came to us, I think you were eating 800 or 900 calories. And the conversation that I warn people about in Kickstart, it's not really a warning, it's an explanation that serves as a warning because it is a mind game that you've told your metabolism, go on vacation, I don't need you. So as you experience, the conversation is, okay, don't freak out. We're going to meet your body where it is. We're going to slowly raise your calories. And that's how we refire your metabolism. Do you remember like what went through your head when we started working together and we had that conversation about raising your calories to lose weight?
Yeah, no. I mean, it was just that simple. Yeah, no. I am a math and science girl to my core. Yeah, no, this is not going to work. Because again, we're taught all of our lives, the way you lose weight is to not eat. Push away from the table. It's just that simple. Well, as we know, when I did that, eating 800 to 900 calories a day, and I couldn't even say that I was starving in the realm of feeling hungry all the time.
Right.
I would get hungry, but my biggest problem was I would eat 800 or 900 calories and be okay with it. And then the third or fourth day, I was losing my mind eating everything out of the pantry. And then I'd go back down to 800 or 900 calories. My metabolism didn't know what to do. Yep. And so when you told me that, I think the biggest voice that I heard is, you liked her in Kickstart, give her a chance. Give her a chance. She said all the right things. Let's see what happens. You don't have anything to lose. Let's see what happens. And so I trusted the process. I trusted you, and it worked.
Isn't it funny? The irony is not lost on me that now you're the one having those conversations with women that come to you.
And I know, and you know what? I can say it with such confidence and with a smile on my face, yes, because I am living proof.
Yeah.
And there's so many women that you think it's all about overeating, step away from the buffet line. You don't need 3 plates. It's not that at all. In fact, most of the women that I have met were under eating. They were starving themselves calorically because that's what they thought they had to do to lose the weight.
Yeah. And isn't it fascinating? There's a good question, Joe. I'm going to have Dori answer your question because that's a good one, but I want to come to it in a second. I'm going to write it down so I don't forget. Isn't it interesting when we train? So first of all, there's a reason that we hire coaches who have been through our program, because it's one thing for someone who's just studied this, right? They've watched the videos, they've read the textbooks, to say, well, this is the journey that we have to put you on to raise your calories. But when you've lived it and you can tap into like, girl, I feel that in my soul. Like, I know what you're feeling right now. That is a different experience of someone who knows the screw you, Rachel, you're not raising my calories feeling.
I know, it's so exciting when we do these kickoff calls and we have those first Zoom calls. I am just like in their face. I'm like, we're gonna do this because I've lived it, I've done it. We can do it. Come on. I'm just like, shut up and slow down.
Yeah, and it is amazing that probably the vast. I mean, I don't know if the majority is technically correct, but one thing we talk about, and you remember this back when you were first training to be a coach, is we tell our new coaches, you are going to be shocked by how many women, when they send in their week of tracking, you would expect if they're coming here to lose weight, that everyone is overeating by thousands of calories. The vast majority of women aren't. They're under eating. And it's either one, their metabolism shot to hell, or two, it's exactly what you described. It's under eating, binge eating to make up for it, and then back to it. And that is so common. But as women, we think we're alone in that struggle, right? We think it's just me.
Right, exactly. And that's why I love doing this work so much, is because I do come from a place of experience. I never, ever got on a scale, looked at my weight when I was a kid. My mom did not restrict us from eating because she had a huge sweet tooth. We had pop whenever we wanted it. She served our plate, so we had to eat everything. I'm a part of the clean plate
CPC, clean plate club.
Hashtag. But I had to eat everything, but if I ate everything, then I ate ice cream every night. And for those of you that don't know me very well, if Rachel asks the question, pizza or tacos, it's ice cream, baby. I am always going to be that rebel. My dad and I, that's one of my fondest memories. Every night, he and I would sit down to a big old bowl of ice cream. And when I got married at 21 years old, I weighed 98 pounds. I didn't have to worry about anything. Yeah. I mean, I would go to lunch. Now, I did not do this often, and it's not something I'm proud of, but here's the change. At 20 years old, I would go to McDonald's and I would get a Big Mac, a quarter pounder with cheese, a large order of fries, an apple pie, and a Diet Coke, because
it's gotta be diet.
And I would eat that for my 30-minute lunch. Post menopause or post hysterectomy into menopause, I'm eating salads like a fiend, and I am just gaining weight. It made no sense to me. And so all these different things that I tried, it was restriction. Don't eat fruit, don't eat carbs, don't eat this, do keto. It was like, I don't even know what to do. So that's why with you, when you said, let's raise your calories, I'm like, I don't have anything to lose. I've done it all.
Yeah. Toby says, amen, trust the process. And Marcy said, can't wait to get started. Yes. I'm curious how you're going to answer this question, because we both know firsthand how your goals have changed over the time we've been together. So Joe says, Dori, how long did it take you to accomplish your goal with macros? And I'm very curious what your answer is going to be, because I know where we started and I know where we've gone and continue to go.
Yes. I'm going to ask a question, Joe. Do you mean how long did it take for me to start hitting my macros consistently, or how long it took for me to hit my goal weight?
Yeah. So let us know in the comment box. That's a really good distinction. Is it? Oh, there's a follow-up question. So Joe, let us know, do you mean like how long did it take her to lock in the skill of macros, or how long did it take her to hit her goal weight? Joe's follow-up question while we're waiting for that is, Joe says, both. And the follow-up question, do you eat what you want now with no restriction? We can answer that one easily.
Favorite question ever. Yes, I do. In fact, I can tell you today, I'm having spaghetti tonight with pasta. I'm having apple pie because I've already programmed it into my Fitness Pal, and it's my homemade apple pie. So I've done all the calculations. But I had a burger last night. I eat pizza when I want to. I eat ice cream when I want to. And so as far as your first two questions, it took me probably, I would say, 4 weeks in the first level to really start understanding how to hit those macro goals. Did I do it perfectly? No. Do I do it perfectly today? No, I don't. And I don't stress about it either, because every day is a new day. Yeah. And so I would say by week 6, I was really starting to hit my consistency stride. As far as how long it took for me to hit my goal weight, for me personally, and every journey is different. You have to know that every journey is different. I would say in level 2 is when I really hit my stride with my weight. And so it felt really good. In level 2, level 3, I fine-tuned it. And then level 4, wow, that was a whole different.
And I want to tack onto something Dori said. When she says, like, I don't hit my macros perfectly today, she 1,000% has the skill to. If she wanted to, she could zero out her macros every day. But one of the things we talk about endlessly in Ignite is that this journey is never, if you're trying to do it perfectly every day, you're going to burn yourself out. You're never going to stick with it. So if Dori has her grandkids come in for a weekend, you're not going to sit there and track cookies that you're making with, like, enjoy your freaking time with your grandkids and then get back to tracking, right? This is never an all or nothing perfection type based thing. Joe's follow-up, can I ask how much you lost to hit your goal? Do you know what your total weight loss was when you were at your lowest?
Well, I can tell, yes, I do. And the reason I know is because when I was at my heaviest, and I don't know if Linda Weber asked me this question specifically, but there were people that asked if I had stretched the picture or altered the picture of me on that boat.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
And I said, nope, that is me. That's how I looked. But I moved to Kansas City 4 years ago and they didn't know any different.
Yeah.
They didn't see me 10, 15 years ago. So they didn't know that this was my heaviest. My heaviest weight was the same weight that I was when I delivered my last son. And that really rocked me, that I was the same weight that I was when I was pregnant with my last child. So I lost 20 pounds total.
Nice. Good. Yeah. And then Dori's gone on. The reason, Joe, I didn't know how she would specifically answer is, if you remember in day 4, when we talked about how to build muscle, that you have to be in a surplus. You have to be eating more calories than you burn. So at this point, Dori has gone through the deficit to hit her goal weight. She lost the 20 pounds, hit her goal weight. And then we've transitioned into the surplus to put on muscle, and then got back. It's cycles that she's gone through, because now she just lives and breathes this stuff.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned this in last week in Kickstart, the most jaw-dropping part for us was, when Dori came to us, she was eating 900 calories. And when we were going into that surplus, we were trying to get her to gain weight. And we got up to what? It was almost 1,800 calories before you started gaining. We're like, slow down, metabolism. We're trying to put on weight now.
I remember sending you a boxer. I'm like, I gained a pound. I was so excited. It's like, what is wrong with me? But
right? Imagine a life where you're celebrating because you're finally able to put on weight. Like, that's what we mean when we talk about firing up your metabolism.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
So I'm curious. I actually didn't plan to ask this, but since it came up in your answer. So one of the big questions that we've gotten throughout Kickstart is, what can I expect out of the 12 weeks? And we never sugarcoat here, right? Like, if you have 50 pounds to lose, absolutely not. You should not be losing that in 12 weeks. That is not healthy. What you will do, as long as you're consistent, right? We can't do the work for you, but if you do what your coaches teach, what we teach in Ignite, you will lock in the skill of macro tracking. You will even out your metabolism. You'll start firing it up, and you'll be well on your way to, if you want to lose 20 pounds or you want to lose 50 pounds, right? So I'm curious for you, you had the skill locked in within 4 of the 12 weeks,
right? Yet
you went on to the other levels of Ignite. Was that purely because you hadn't hit your goal weight yet, or was there something else that made you decide to stay on?
I had not hit my goal weight yet, but it was not about that for me, because again, I am a math and science girl to my core. I knew once I started locking in that skill and I started seeing the scale drop, that was what I needed.
Yeah.
For me, because of the bonus workshops that you had done, I never realized I had a traumatic relationship with food. And when we did some of those bonus workshops, I thought, I've got more work to do. And so I signed up for level 2, and it was more about the mindset and fixing, if you will, or adjusting or flipping the narrative on some of those things that I had been telling myself with my inner voice. And then when I got to level 3, and I was like, well, I'm halfway home now. I'm never
I'm in it to win it.
I am never doing anything differently. I got to go through this whole program.
Yeah. And that really is, a lot of times in Kickstart, people start asking about levels 2, 3, 4, and we're like, just focus on one. Like, let's get through one and we'll talk. But that really is the answer. Like, yeah, you'll know the skill. If you're purely in this for macros, you'll be good with level 1. And we don't know what we don't know. And as you and I know as coaches, usually 98% of the time when you start doing this work, there's something under the surface. And that's when it comes up. That's what the mindset work of level 2, 3, 4 is. So that's interesting. You and I have never talked about that journey for you.
Well, and I have to give a shout out to my husband, even though he's not here, because I am a frugal person. Investing in myself like this, it took a lot for me. I literally was sitting on the couch just sweating, I was like, how am I going to do this? And that's so selfish. And again, having all that inner narrative that I know now is not accurate. But I talked to him and I said, I really want to do this. And he said, do you think it'll make a difference? I said, I really do. I feel it, that this is the program that I have been looking for, that answers all of the questions that no one could ever answer for me before. And so I did level 1. And then when it came to level 2, he goes, it's not like you and Rachel are friends and that this is going to go on forever.
Little did he know.
Little did he know. But I'm like, well, I get that. And that's not what it's about. There's other work to be done. And to his credit, he said, if you feel like you need it, then I want you to do it. So those conversations are difficult, but I am so glad I had it and I didn't shrink away from it.
Yeah. What was the tipping point for you? Like, what was the point when you're sitting there ruminating about the money, fears running the show? Was there like a specific thought or realization or mantra, something that went through your head that was like, no, I need to leap. I need to face the fear and leap.
I didn't want to look the way I did. I knew that I didn't look healthy anymore. Yeah. And I would, again, to my husband's credit, I've always said to him, I need you to tell me the honest truth. And even if it's not always good, I need you to be honest. And so I would make these comments passive aggressively, I guess, that, well, I'm not skinny anymore, or I'm not this anymore. He goes like, well, you've gained a little weight, but we all have. And put that caveat in there. And I knew I didn't feel good about myself. Yeah. I knew I had to do something because I just didn't feel that happy cheerleader, bright and sunshiny attitude anymore. I felt very deflated, and I didn't like it. I didn't like feeling heavy in my physical person, and I didn't like feeling heavy in my mental person.
Yeah. Yeah. Joe, I see your question about workouts. We're going to come back to that one. So Susan says, I can relate to investing in yourself. And I feel like, I mean, we all can, right? I know, I don't know a single human being in my life. I mean, that I'm thinking as I'm saying that, I don't know anyone who just walks around like, where can I spend my money today? Right? Like, it is a scary, spending your money is a scary thing. Spending your money on yourself, I think is the hardest thing for most of us. And, you know, we see it all the time. After Kickstarter, if Kickstarter led into Ignite and Ignite was free, which we could never do because it wouldn't exist, right? We can't do what we do without running a business. Everyone would be in there. There's no reason not to be in there. The thing that holds people back is the investment level. Right. And I'm curious, you know, obviously that's paid off in the actual weight loss. But one of the things that you heard, we've talked about endlessly in Kickstart is how this shows up in other areas of your life. Like when you get your health in check, it's not about numbers on a scale. It's not about wearing a t-shirt that says I weigh X number of pounds. Have you seen this show? I mean, obviously besides the fact you've gone on to coach with us, which is like a rare thing, doesn't happen to everyone, but have you seen it? Yeah. Are there other areas where taking control of your health in this way has shown up? Has the gains have been beyond just the weight loss?
For sure. I have had people tell me I look so bright and happy again. And it's interesting. I was just thinking about this. My daughter-in-law told me my son told her that it has been very fun to watch me find myself.
Oh, I love that.
Because it brought tears to my eyes, because my husband had a very demanding job. And when we first got married, and we had 3 babies, and for me, I didn't finish college, so I became a wife and I supported him, and then I supported my kids. And he told my daughter-in-law, he goes, all my mom ever did was support us, whether it was us kids or dad. She never did anything for herself. And I'm going to start crying. So he said, it's just been so fun to watch her find her. And he's heard me talk about supporting these women on this journey and how much I love it, because it means so much to see people succeed and find the success and have those aha moments where, whether they have a scale victory or a non-scale victory, they share it with me. I'm like, you got to post about that in our community. We got to lift you up. And so there's just so much that, yes, I'm retired. I don't have a 40-hour work week anymore, but there are so many other aspects where I show up for my family or my friends or the community. I'm just able to support in such a better mental state than I ever was before MindStrong.
I literally have goosebumps. You see all these comments are saying, go Dori, love this. Like that is why we do, right? And you live it now. So, you know, like on the surface, what we do is we teach women to lose weight. That is not what we do. Like, that is the given. Cool. That's math, science. We got you. It's everything you just described. Like, Ignite is called Ignite for the reason you just described, because especially as women, as givers, as moms, grandparents, teachers, whatever it is, we give, and then our flame dwindles. And when you do this work, it lights something up in you, and it is so apparent to everyone around you. And it only happens when you face that fear, when you do this work and you take that leap. That, oh, I freaking love that. Yes, and Linda says she loves you. Tina says same.
Oh, thank you. But I know, like, Brandy is in Ignite, and she signed on for this huge test, and we're waiting to see if she passes it. But she said herself, she wouldn't have done that. She wouldn't have had the confidence to do that before Ignite. Yep. And so, I mean, Coach Sherry, that you're going to hear from too, the busy mom of 3, she just quit her job that she's been doing for 16 years and took the leap, and she's doing something completely different. And she completely 110% gives Ignite the credit, because she never had the confidence to do it before. Yeah. So it's way beyond losing weight.
Brandy put a heart in there. She's listening. Yeah. Amy too. Amy got a massive promotion at work that her exact words to me are, I wouldn't have even considered taking this because her fear of visibility, because of the weight she was holding, the way she felt about her body. Like, this has, I don't know how else to say it, except the weight loss is the given for us. Like, it is just, Matt, I say just not to put it lightly, like, that's the overwhelming part for a lot of women. That's the simple part for us. It's this stuff. This is why we do what we do. This is why our hands flail when we talk about our work. Like, this is what life
really
is.
Trying hard.
Right? Hold them in place. All right. 2 kind of unrelated questions from Joe, meaning the 2 separate questions. And then I have one last question for you. I'm actually curious to answer this. So a lot of times, in fact, Melana and I were just talking about this morning, a lot of times women who come into our program that have significant others, one of 2 things happen. Number one, they get pushback from the significant other. Like, oh, are you going to have to, we're going to have 3 different dinners going at the same time. Or they're just kind of indifferent. Like, I don't want anything to do with this macro stuff. This is your journey. And women will come to us and say, what do I do? And the answer is, do you, boo-boo, right? Like, human beings want to feel good. So when you start getting results, when you start living with that confidence, that energy, your spouse is naturally going to be like, I want some of that Kool-Aid. What are you doing? Right. And we've seen spouses go on to lose weight and transform their lives simply because you're leading by example. I don't know what Josh's journey has been. So Joe asked, does your husband do macros with you now? Which I don't think he does, but how has this affected him? I don't know the answer to this.
I am so glad you asked that, Joe. So I was doing my thing, counting my macros. I didn't cook anything differently. I tracked my food. And as you'll learn, there is no special food. There is no frozen meal or kit that you buy. It's truly whatever you normally eat. You just track it and figure out your macros. It's a game of Tetris. We love Tetris. But in any case, he started seeing the weight loss, and he was complimenting me, saw my energy, saw my emotional state change and all of that. And he said, I think you could figure out my macros. I think I could do it. And I'm like, well, yeah. He's an athlete, and he's got a little bit of the dad bod going on, but not too bad. And so I figured up his macros, and he started tracking his macros. Now, he doesn't do it consistently. He doesn't. But he is very interested in the process of it because he sees what it's done for me. So we've had the grandkids here this week, last week, and into this week. They leave tomorrow. And so he'll get back on to tracking. He does it more loosely than I do, but he has seen some positive results himself.
That's amazing. And that is really like, I cannot tell you how many times we've had this conversation with women who are like, what do I do about my husband, my wife, whatever? And it's like, absolutely nothing. You do you, and it is human nature. They're not going to be like, wow, you look and feel and your energy's transformed amazingly. I don't want to do that. Like, no one's going to say that, right? And if you force them, they're never going to do it. We all know that about our significant others. You cannot force them to do something. So you just do you. And eventually, in the vast majority of cases, exactly what happened with Josh is what happened.
He just became curious. And so
Curiosity. Yep. Joe's other question is, do you work out all the time? And Dori's answer is going to be a little different than most because the kind of exercise you're into, but I think it's an important question. Like, do you have to be obsessed with workouts or regimented about your workouts for this to work?
No, you don't. You don't have to do any workouts. You really don't. I do choose to do more cardio than Rachel would ever
think about.
But I do jazzercise. And so I do 2 or 3 classes a week because I enjoy it. And it's something that I have a long history on my dad's side of the family of cardiovascular disease. My dad had a massive heart attack at 53. Both of my grandparents died of heart attacks, cousins, uncles. I mean, it's rampant on my dad's side. So I do a lot of cardiovascular for me because of my heart issues and my family history. But I also incorporate a lot of strength training. So sometimes I'll do Rachel's workouts that she offers as additional strength, but it's not an everyday in the gym 2 hours a day thing for me at all.
Yeah. Yeah. It really is 90% nutrition. That's it. You could do all of this. You could do all of level 1 without ever working out and it'll work.
Well, let me interrupt you, Rachel, real quick. Before I found Kickstart and MindStrong, I was doing jazzercise and I had lost a little bit of weight, but not like I did until I got my nutrition in check. When I got my nutrition in check, it was like, Katie, hold the door.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's next, what I forget what day Leanne's going to be on this week also. And Leanne is also very in the jazzercise world.
Yeah.
And her story is exactly what you just said. Like she loves jazzercise. She worked out a lot and it never stuck. Like her goals were not happening. And then she got that nutrition piece in check and boom, that's it. That's the key that most people are missing.
Yep.
Joe says, thank you for answering all my questions. And Kelly says, I love Dori. We all love Dori. Dori's the best.
I love you guys.
Trish, I'm thinking of taking the leap into Ignite, but we'll be on vacation the second week of the program, August 14th. How much time is required weekly and how do you handle vacation weeks as far as meeting with a group/coach? Trish, I'm going to answer that question in 1 minute. Okay. I'm going to ask Dori her final question. And then when I do the wrap up, I'm going to answer this. So let me just write it down. So time required, because my answer is going to be very different than what you might expect. Vacation and then makeup.
Where are you going, Trish? Any place really fun?
Yeah. Also, where are you going? Because we're going to live vicariously. Yeah. All right, Dori, here's my final question for you. And then I'll tell you guys what's coming up. And then I will answer Trish's question as well. We started this by me asking you your one word for, I'm not going to say old Dori, previous Dori. Going to Aruba. Trisha's going to Aruba. All right, we're all going along. Let's take a MindStrong team trip to Aruba.
Yeah.
Let's go. All right. So your word was deflated, right? Is that was now none of us saw this journey coming from you. Like I knew you'd lose the weight. I wasn't worried about that part, but you live and breathe this to the point where you have become not just a coach, but you have become like the face of postmenopausal women in MindStrong, giving hope to women everywhere. When you look at your health, your energy, your relationship with food, your life now, what is your word? I'm putting you on the spot.
Probably magical.
Oh, I love that. That gave me goosebumps.
Probably magical because honestly, when you are deflated and you have that feeling of I'll never eat another banana again, and now I'm eating 2 or 3 a day with no hesitation, and to have the mindset shift that came with it, to have my relationship with food healed. All of it has just been such a magical journey. I've told you before, Rachel, if I would have had you back in my 20s, back in my 30s, even before I ever had my hysterectomy, to be able to teach me this skill so I wouldn't have had those years of frustration. I'm just so grateful that I have it now so that my second chapter, I can live my absolute best life. I'm on the floor with my grandkids playing. I'm doing cannonballs off the lily pad, being called Rockstar Mimi. I mean, there is so much that has changed, and I've been doing this a little over a year, and there's so much that has changed. It has truly been a magical journey for me.
I love that. Oh my gosh, that gives me goosebumps. Yes, absolutely. And like it is not an exaggeration when I tell you guys, like we have team meetings once a week, and our team meetings are freaking love fests. Like we sit there, we talk about every client, how they're doing, who's struggling with what, and it always ends with us just being like, I can't believe this is the work we get to do in this like every single day. It doesn't get old.
No, it's awesome.
That doesn't come from so-and-so lost 5 pounds. Like it comes from that spark being relit, everything that you described so beautifully. Dori, you are such a rock star, and we are just, oh my gosh, I think one day we're going to give each of the coaches nicknames. Like, what did Sherry say? Like Macro Mama the other day?
Yeah, Macro Mama. Yeah.
And you can be Magical Mimi or Rockstar Mimi. Eve says, you rock, Dori. Thanks for describing how you were so successfully balancing family, nutrition, and jazzercise. She does.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And so you guys know what happens when you sign up for Ignite is you're sent a kickoff form where it's going to ask you a lot of questions about your life, where you feel stuck, what kind of coach would give you the best support. It's only like 15 questions, but they're very specific for a reason. Rockin' 57, that's what Joe says. And that form is designed, it's asking you specific questions to pair you with a coach based off of who's going to support you most in your journey. So if you are someone who's menopausal or post and you say like, this is my struggle, this is where I feel stuck, I need someone who can relate, then there is a very good chance that that you'll be paired with Dori because she knows that story as well. Before we wrap up, 2 things. So Trish, I want to address your question. Trish's question was, I'm on the brink about Ignite, except I'm going out of town the second week. And she asked about the time commitment and makeups. This is going to seem like a very odd answer. I love when people have something that disrupts their journey early. And that's such a weird answer. But, Dori can attest to this because she was with us a couple rounds ago in Ignite. We kicked off right before the holidays. And it's like, who in their right mind is signing up for a weight loss program during the holidays? And our answer was, this is exactly when you need it, because you need to start locking in this skill a couple weeks before the holiday hits, because now you're not going to track over the holidays. It's like coach's orders. Team MindStrong says there's no tracking over the holidays. Same with vacation. And now your caveman brain has some proof that when you come back, you know how to do this. And to take it one step further, at some point in life, you're going to have another disruption. There's going to be another vacation. Something's going to happen. This time, when your brain starts to tell you, wait a second, I've been doing so well. What's going to happen when I take this week off? It's all been wasted. It's like, wait a second. I went on vacation week 2 of Ignite. I know 100% I can get right back to this. So Trish, you're not alone in this. I had this conversation with someone else as well. Most people, when they learn the skill of macro tracking, even though there's no restriction, even though the whole point is you can eat whatever you want, part of us, because it's human nature, we start to put those horse blinders on and we say, okay, I've learned to hit my macros eating X, Y, and Z. Let me not deviate so I don't mess it up. Right? Dori, you see this all the time. Like, let me just stick to what I know. And what happens to them is at the end of 12 weeks or however long they stay in, at some point life happens and you go on vacation. And now they freak out because it's like, I have to get out of my bubble. I have to get out of my safety bubble. When you've had that experience early on in the journey, it doesn't matter how many times life gets disrupted, which it always will, because now your caveman brain has that proof that you know how to do it. That's the bigger picture answer. Logistically, you'll be fine because for the week you're away, you'll arrange with your coach. If Dori winds up being your coach or Allison or Sherry or Amy, you guys will talk ahead of time. You'll reschedule your call. Everything we do, whether it's office hours, bonus workshop, whatever it is, they're always recorded. They're posted in the main group. They're emailed out to you and they're put in the Ignite portal. And by the way, any bonus workshop we've ever done in the past is already in the Ignite portal. So you guys not only get access to the new ones, all the old ones are archived in there for you to go through. So all that to say, Trish, you won't miss a thing. And in my opinion, which seems kind of odd, but there's reason behind the madness, is that I actually like it. I think it's smoother sailing as you go once you've experienced that early on. Joe, I so look forward to learning you never worry about food again. Like
ever. It's food freedom.
It's food freedom.
It's food freedom. And Trish, to tag on what Rachel said about your vacation week, it's 1 week out of 12. If you wait, you're going to have 11 other weeks that bypass you and think, why didn't I do this? It was 1 week that I didn't track. So you wait another 12 weeks, you don't get that back. And you're like, I wish I would have started 12 weeks ago.
Yeah. Trish says, awesome. So I don't have to leave the pool bar to take a call.
No, heck no.
Time and we can like drink some whiskey over, I guess, pina coladas or something. Yeah. Melan says no tracking over the holidays. So listen, this is a sustainable lifestyle. You will hear me say that until you're sick of hearing me say it. What we do here is not a diet. And your life, I hope, includes time with family, vacations, things in life where food should not be at the forefront of our mind. If you are spending a weekend with your grandkids that you only see a few times a year, why in the world are you sitting there tracking your food? Put your phone down, put your app down, go spend time with your grandkids. The biggest mindset shift that again, you will hear me say till I'm blue in the face is this is never all in, all out. If in a 12-week program, you track your macros 9 weeks, guess what? That is amazing progress. Because at the end of the day, you have a tool in your tool bag that you can come back to whenever you want. This is never about perfection. It's about learning a skill that you have absolutely for life. And I mean, Dori referenced this before, and it's worth putting it out there bluntly. The number one thing we hear from women, I wish I had done this sooner, right? Dori said, if I had known this before my hysterectomy, that once women lock in this skill, I joked in Kickstart that I started this business out of infuriation, right? Like there's so much crap in the market. I'm infuriated. And it's a similar feeling when you see the freedom this gives you. It's like, where the hell has this been my whole life? And we're almost, if being angry at our past selves or the industry would do anything, we all would be. And we can pause and recognize, the best time to start was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. So you can wait another 12 weeks, but we're digging the hole deeper, right? Let's start retraining our metabolism now. Trish says, very true, Dori. Thank you both. Yes, very true. Though I'm serious, but you can, let's do some FaceTime and drink some pina coladas next to the pool.
Let's do it. I'm all about it.
Sounds good to me. My mind's already going of how do we take a MindStrong coaches trip?
I can FaceTime and just be right there with you. That's no problem.
All right, guys, if you have more questions for Dori, drop them below in the comment box. Dori, are you okay if I put your email here?
That's totally fine. Sure.
Okay, I'm going to put Dori's email in the comment box as well. Hold on, I can't multitask. All week, we've been talking about if you have questions on Ignite, email team@mindstrongfitness.com. If you feel like your question, you still can do that. And if you feel like your question is very specific to you, to your journey to menopause, Dori at mindstrongfitness.com is Dori's direct email. Feel free to send her a message. If you want to talk about logistics of what this looks like, you've met her now. She's the best. Dori is the cheerleader of MindStrong and there to answer questions as well. Oh, I didn't know Simone was on here. She says, awesome job, Dori.
Thank you.
All right, my friends, we will be live again today at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be live with the second interview in this series. Dori's interview will be posted to the top and emailed out as well. Dori, thank you. Yes, Sarah says you are such a light in the darkness, and that is true. You are just a light in this program and in the world, and we are grateful for you.